The world of Magic the Gathering continues to deteriorate. Phyrexia All Will Be One hasn't even released yet, and there are multiple problems with the set. On top of that, we've got secret Lair issues too. And that's not even everything we're going to talk about today.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another installment of Mega Magic News. This is a roundup edition. We have a lot of items to cover. Now, before we do, just want to let you know real quick, I'm having some serious technological issues here. So there may be some sound issues with this video because I don't have everything working the way I want it to as my computer's trying to end itself. So bear that in mind. Sorry if there's any issues in that regard. Moving on, we are going to talk first of all about what's going on with Phyrexia All Will Be One. Wizards of the Coast hasn't even released the set. It doesn't actually even pre-release until Friday. And yet we already have abominations like this. What you're seeing here are some absolutely ruined mythic rares. Now, yep, there'll be some people who'll come along and say, whoa, these people won the lottery because these are misprints and you can take them over to the misprint group and they'll give you more money for them. But friends, we're living in the era where misprints are becoming more and more common. This isn't a premium anymore. This isn't additional value. You're half the time not even going to be able to sell the misprints because the misprint groups go, there's a billion of these. We don't want them. So either you're given a part-time job or you have to try and sell damaged cards so you can go and buy the cards you want and get a little bit of extra money, or you have a scenario where you can't even do that. And then you've got to deal with Wizards customer service, which, by the way, friends, I have people telling me they've been waiting months and months and months just to get a response back, let alone actually getting replacement products. So Wizards has the worst quality we've ever seen. They're taking forever to get replacements out because they're being completely swamped. And we can see this is continuing, right? And actually, we'll touch on this card quality aspect again when we move into another part of the video. But just in terms of Phyrexia All Will Be One, this is the garbage quality that we're dealing with. And this isn't an isolated one-person incident either. This is already widespread. North American printing, surprise, surprise. The Japanese printings tend to be pretty solid. Now, let's move on to the other Phyrexia All Will Be One mess up that we have to talk about here, which is Bring the Ending. And that feels kind of appropriate because it feels like Wizards is bringing the ending to Magic with all these terrible choices. So this one's a little more subtle. It's in the rules text. It's absolutely egregious. So Bring the Ending says counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. Corrupted, counter that spell instead if its controller had 3 or more poison counters. So I'm sure at first you're going, so what's even the problem? I don't get it. Well, it comes down to the word it's. If you take a look at the top part of the card where it just counters the spell if they don't pay 2, that part works fine. But if you read the next part where it says counter that spell instead if its controller, notice how it's a different spelling of its. If you were to actually take out the little apostrophe that's in there, the way this reads is counter that spell instead if it is controller has 3 or more poison counters. That breaks the syntax and technically makes the second ability not work. Now, in terms of gameplay, that's going to mess nobody up. This card will functionally play properly when everybody's using it. But if you were to actually go by the wording on the card, it technically doesn't work. And this just speaks to the level of disregard that Wizards of the Coast has now for its own product. We have seen they don't bother even checking their cards over. We had Strixhaven where you literally had the wrong name on the card. So the card name up at the top and the card referencing itself in the text box didn't even match. We have the Urtet situation where you have a regular rare and a mythic rare version of the exact same card. So it can drop as a mythic rare or a rare, right? There's all these different layers that are just failure after failure. Wizards doesn't care. Take a look at this image I was sent of the Transformers secret lair, the most recent secret lair, friends. Oh, look at how banged up these cards. Look at the jank all over them. They look like they were attacked with a Brillo pad, right? These are premium cards. You're paying Wizards for boxes of these, and they're only selling you 3 or 4 cards, and they can't be bothered to print them to a reasonable standard of quality. They want you to pay $40, $50 for 4 cards. They want to bundle secret layers together and not even offer discounts. The last secret layer bundle had like a discount of 1 penny. And if you bought the bundle, it was $109.99 or something like that. And it came out to be exactly under the threshold you would need to get the Scarab God. Like, they're doing all of these crazy moves on top of the bad quality. If you want to be skeezers and play these games, it's one thing. Fix your card quality. Fix everything. In fact, the story links. Guys, if you don't know this, there's so many articles on Wizards of the Coast website that are just gone due to broken links. They still exist somewhere. Wizards just didn't bother to make it so you can actually find them. So now people are having to go back and organize all these links independently. People on Reddit are doing this for the good of other individuals because Wizards can't be bothered to pay one of their employees to give us access to information about their own game. I feel like I'm living in crazy town right now. It's absolutely insane because they get rewarded at the same time. The oil slick bundles, right? The Phyrexia all be one completed bundles where you get special oil slick foils and all that kind of stuff. They're only available in those bundles. Those bundles are spiking up through the roof. And Wizards has also created sales incentives like the little click down spin die to make them push even farther in March. So you've got this situation that I find incredibly frustrating where they're making all these mistakes and yet they're still pulling in a whole bunch of money. And so as a result, they will still feel like, hey, we're making the right choices. We're doing the right things. It's incredibly frustrating. They've done a terrible job of transmitting the information that the Pro Tour is back. I saw a Reddit post and it was like, the Pro Tour is back. And I'm like, yeah, like months ago they announced this. Literally months ago. How has the word not gotten around? It's because Wizards of the Coast doesn't know what they're doing. They haven't trumpeted the return of it. On top of that, they just decided now, they're like, okay, you know what? Regional championships will have one format. It's going to be Pioneer. They're pushing Pioneer while at the same time walking out and going, hey, why isn't anybody checking out Standard? And we're not going to make Standard a part of this. Like, bro, the Pro Tour, Wizards of the Coast blew it so hard, right? Like, Friday Night Magic used to be the thing. You could go down and, like, it doesn't matter. You can find a game store. You can find a Friday Night Magic. That ain't the case anymore. Sure, you can find some shops where they're having Commander nights here and there, all that kind of stuff. But Friday Night Magic as the de facto thing, let's head on down to Friday Night Magic. You can bring a deck with you or pick up a deck. You'll be ready to go. Like, they had it set up properly and they absolutely squandered it. And with the Pro Tour, they're not doing a good job with the optics and getting people super hyped up. It's a real failure. All right, so next item we have on the list is the Commander Rules Committee actually got together and discussed Phyrexia All-Be-One and some other things. And it turns out that Elish Norn will not be getting the banhammer, regardless of the fact that Sheldon felt like it was too much to be in Commander. So that's sticking around. And Dockside Extortionist is also avoiding the banhammer because the logic being that, yes, it's a powerful card, but its power scales. And when it's having a big, powerful effect, there's a ton of other crazy stuff going on the board. So, as far as I'm concerned, that actually makes some sense, right? We spoke about the secret layers and the issues. I'm going to toss up the image real quick of the Winter Super Drop so you can take a look. This is the newest secret layer Super Drop. And, I mean, some of the styles are very fun, right? I like the vibe of the styles. But the actual cards, like on each of these piles, you can see Wizards has put the most desirable card from each of these on the top of the pile. Crested Sunmare? Shishiro? Like, the only one in there at all that really feels like a leader card is Inkmoth Nexus, where people are like, okay, that's going to kick in the door. Azusa, the 17th time we've seen it printed, like, this isn't even the first time we've seen it in a secret lair, if I'm not mistaken, right? So these choices that they're making are not super exciting. They're not going to get people crashing the door down. And you've got like 2 months to order this one because they're expanding the order window as well. But it shows that Wizards of the Coast basically feels like if we just put like one undesirable card in a secret lair and then throw 3 other or 4 other random pieces of crap in there, then we'll just sell it to him based on that. But looking at this, it's very, very disparate, and the cards chosen for half these secret lairs don't even feel like they fit with the theme of the secret lair according to the name, right? But maybe those are some minor nitpicks. The only other thing I want to cover now, my friends, is the Dungeons and Dragons situation. If you didn't hear, Wizards of the Coast absolutely lost to the D&D folk, right? Absolutely got hammered. Wizards of the Coast has bowed down to them 100%. I actually did a live stream on my other channel going into depth and talking about all that. So I'll leave a link here at the end. I would talk more about in this video, but I'm genuinely concerned that all of my software is going to crash. I don't even know if this video is going to make it out to you, and I don't know what my downtime is going to be, because I think I full on need a new computer now. But either way, I have to do a bunch of work. I got to get to it. Thanks for coming by. Big shout out to my patrons. Link to my other channel where the live stream happened. We'll do another live stream tonight if you want to come by and hang out. Other than that, I'm done. So see you next time.